Hey, lead generation always seems to be the topic amongst business owners, particularly in the franchise space. And I wanted to talk with you and share what I'm seeing working in business today and in franchising in particular for lead generation. And I want to give you some tips for what you should be thinking about as you start your lead generation. Stick around.
This is the Franchise Pitfalls and Profit Show. Each week, we bring you the challenges and triumphs of being in the franchise development and consulting business. The things you need to make money faster. And now your host, one of the most successful franchise developers in North America, Don Shin.
Hey, the topic that always seems to be discussed when business people get together is how are you generating leads? Particularly in the franchising space where I spend most of my time, it's been the topic of conversation for the 24 years that I've been in the business. Now, why is that? Well, it's not always been easy, but I also think, from time to time, not necessarily even every year, but things change. And so I think it's important to stay on top of what's going on from the standpoint of lead generation. Now, before we do that, I just want to jump on a couple of tips because these are things that I see people failing to think about when they start their lead generation or when they're doing their lead generation. And so I wanted to go over three tips to consider when you look at developing lead generation strategies. So one of the things I wanted to talk about is to be sure that you run and you use multiple lead generation strategies simultaneously. If you use one strategy at all, even if it's working, it just makes your business very, very vulnerable because at any given time, it could stop working. At any given time, maybe the government swoops in and creates a regulation that stops you from being able to do that type of lead generation. So have more than one strategy operating at the same time on a regular basis so that you're not susceptible to having something taken away from you and it totally changes your business. Another thing is to watch when you actually need the leads or consider the strategy as in when does it deliver leads on a regular basis for you. Because what I find is different lead generation strategies produce leads short-term, mid-term, long-term. Short-term is 30 days. Mid-term, 30 to 60 days. Mid-term is 3 to 6 months. And long-term is 6 months plus, 6 months to a year. So recognize that the lead generation strategies you choose will deliver leads at different times. We all need leads probably in the next 30 to 60 days. And I often get the question about, well, when do I start a midterm or a long-term strategy? Well, you could start them when you've got a couple of strategies that are always producing you leads in 30 to 60 to 90 days. That's when you can comfortably start longer term strategies. Now, one of the things, and I'm probably going to get a lot of abusive, disagreeing emails about this comment, but a lot of social media strategies are midterm to long-term strategies. And so I caution people, particularly if you're starting up a business or you're starting up consulting or you're in franchise development in the early stages, your first 1 to 3 years, I caution you to spend too much time on quote unquote social media. So I see people, this is a podcast, but I've been in this industry 24 years. I use my podcast for different purposes, not so much immediate lead generation strategy, but for other longer term purposes. And so you have to really consider when you invest your time, you may enjoy, like I love doing this. You may enjoy doing podcasts, but indeed, is that going to generate you leads when you need leads? and most people need, and they're starting up businesses, or they're in their first 3 years of business, and they need leads now. So now there are some social media that will produce leads maybe a little bit faster, but probably really still midterm, 3 to 6 months. So let me give you a couple of examples. Podcasts, and midterm, long term. Facebook groups, especially if your business is very local. I know a lot of you that listen to me, you can do business pretty much anywhere. But if you're looking for local business strategies, and you franchise developers out there, you franchise brokers out there, a market you're missing is your local markets. Local Facebook groups will very much generate leads for you in your geography. So different social media strategies will produce leads at different times. Always stay active, have a great profile. The social media, I think, that works short term / a little bit toward the midterm, certainly within 90 days, is connecting, is searching with the type of people that you'd want to do business with, searching for them, connecting with them, having a regular sequence of reaching out to them and creating dialogues and creating value for them. These are social media strategies that are worth putting the effort in, knowing it's probably somewhere between short-term, midterm results. Podcasts and too much time and those kinds of things, not so much. Not so much. If you're very local, again, local Facebook groups are fantastic for generating business in a geographic space. The last tip I want to do, and then I'm going to share with you what I'm seeing working today in business and in franchising. But the last tip, after use multiple strategies, watch when you need the leads. The last one I want to share for today is use your time in addition to your money. A lot of people fail to realize that there's two types of investments. If you value your time, you're not spending time, you're investing time. If you expect to get something out of, or expect to get a return on putting time into something, then you want to think as an investor. So invest your time. And a lot of folks have time on their hands that they could put into lead generation. So I encourage you to not just pour a lot of money into it. And a lot of times people spend a lot of money on marketing dollars. Lead generation doesn't always seem to work, and they think that marketing doesn't work. But the reality is you need to temper that with putting your effort in, putting some time in. That's also going to generate your leads. So, okay, so there are my tips for today. Let me share with you what I see that's working today. And I've kind of alluded a little bit to some of this. One is LinkedIn. I joke that the information that people publicly put out there on LinkedIn today about themselves, about their companies, we in sales, in one shape or another, over 45 years, we would have killed for information that people are just putting out there today. So LinkedIn, it's very searchable. You can go right into the target markets that you have. And so LinkedIn is really, really working. You need to, and we work with an automated type system. So we're connecting faster and with more people. But then once you're connected with them, you can create a valuable dialogue with them and create that effort into leads, into prospects. So it can be kind of low to medium volume of leads, but they're very high quality. We get a lot of our business through our circles of contacts, and LinkedIn is the best place to have that, to create that. Another thing that's working today is Biz Buy Sell. If you're in franchise development, if you're a local business broker of some sort, then the real buyers are on Biz Buy Sell. We've had great success when we shifted a portion of our lead generation over to Biz Buy Sell. Not necessarily, again, high volume, but great quality. It just does not seem to be the often internet type tire kicker on Biz Buy Sell. And then lastly, if you need to be very local, as I just mentioned earlier, got ahead of myself, but if you need to be very local, very geographically focused with your business, a great way to generate leads is going to be a membership in, conversations in, joining local Facebook groups. That's going to generate a lot of leads and a lot of visibility. You can't often sell in those groups, but it's a matter of putting, I'm Don Shin and I'm with this business and this is what I do. You're not really soliciting or selling, but people want to know who you are, or they'll check out your profile as you give value into the group. It's just a great way to generate leads if you have some form of a local only type business. So again, tips: multiple lead generation strategies so that your business is not vulnerable. Watch when you need your leads, short-term, midterm, long-term, and be sure that you're ready to do midterm and long-term strategies. Use your time. Invest your time, not just invest dollars. And then today's places where I would spend where we are spending our efforts and our time and our money: LinkedIn, Biz Buy Sell, local Facebook groups. I hope you got great value out of this. If you did, please subscribe to my YouTube channel.